There's a video I still have my family standing in the middle of a Christmas parade, taping at Walt Disney World back in 2005, while Serena Williams sings Hark the Herald Angels Sing right in front of us. That clip aired again 3 years later in 2008 as a flashback moment in the parade broadcast. It's strange to think that somewhere in Disney's archives, our family shows up twice, 3 years apart. Hi, friend, and welcome to The Magic Between. I'm Christy Bettenhausen, a travel agent with Mickey Travels and earmarked by Disney Diamond Travel Agency. Each week, we'll take a few minutes to slow down and explore the moments that make family vacations and life a little more meaningful. We'll talk about Disney destinations, creating lasting memories, and the little moments that often become the biggest memories, because the memories you'll treasure most can't be found on a map. They're made in the magic between. The morning after Thanksgiving that year, we woke up in a Midwest hotel with no heat. Snow and ice were already on the ground outside, and a few hours later, we landed in Florida for our very first Christmas trip to Walt Disney World. We had no idea what that trip would turn into. We didn't know we'd come home expecting our son, Robert. That's a whole family joke on its own, tied to a Disney Cruise Line commercial that was running around then. Do you remember it? And we definitely didn't know we'd end up standing in the middle of a parade taping footage that would end up airing not once, but twice. That trip could have just been a nice memory that faded, the kind you mentioned once and then let go. Instead, it planted something. 10 years later, we went back for Christmas again. This time we stayed at Wilderness Lodge in a room with a view of Bay Lake and Cinderella Castle. We had this tiny little Christmas tree that was just perfect for the table, like it was made for that spot, like the room had been waiting for it. And every single night, our son Robert would climb out of bed to go watch the Electrical Water Pageant drift by outside. Half asleep every time, never missed it. Not once. Here's the thing, I've always loved that pageant myself. It's corny in the best way. The synthesized music, the floating lights, the whole slow, unhurried pace of it. That thing has been running since 1971, over 50 years now, drifting across the same lake for longer than most of us have been alive. No wonder Robert couldn't look away. Honestly, I still can't. Still today, if I hear that music start up wherever I am, I stop whatever I'm doing and watch. Every single time. There's something about a tradition that's outlasted that many years of changing trends and changing crowds that just feels like it deserves your full attention, even for 5 minutes. That Wilderness Lodge trip is really where it all took off. We went back the next Christmas and the one after that. For 8 years straight, December at Walt Disney World became our family's thing. The trip we didn't have to talk ourselves into anymore. It just went on the calendar. We did the parties, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights, once they started, each one with its own version of the same magic. We wandered through resort lobbies just to look at the decorations, because somehow a 50-foot hotel Christmas tree never once got old, no matter how many times we'd already seen it. We saw the Once Upon a Christmas Time parade both ways and during the party, and again during the daytime run that happens after the party stop, right through the days after Christmas, which honestly might be my favorite version of it. And then there's the candlelight processional. We watched it year after year, and for 6 of those years, our daughter Kayla, as a Walt Disney World cast member, sang in the choir. There's something about standing there watching your own kids sing carols in a place like that, whether the night's cool or you're sweating through your jacket, that never stopped feeling special, not once. And the last of those 8 years, we brought our grandson along for his very first trip. I remember watching him take it all in, and the lights, the music, the whole overwhelming size of it, and thinking about how many years of this our family had already stacked up by that point. He wasn't old enough to understand any of the history. He didn't know about the parade taping or the water pageant or any of it. He was just a toddler seeing Christmas lights for the first time, wide-eyed. But that's exactly how it starts for everybody, isn't it? Nobody's first trip comes with the backstory already attached. The backstory gets built one moment at a time, the same way ours did, one small unplanned thing stacking on top of another, until one day you look up and realize you've got 8 years of it behind you. I think about that stretch of years a lot. especially this time of year. And here's what strikes me every time. Not one of those moments was something we planned for. Nobody put get discovered in a parade taping on an itinerary. Nobody scheduled kid refuses to sleep through the water pageant. Nobody plans for a tree that fits a table just right, or for a kid seeing lights for the first time to remind the rest of us why we keep coming back. Those things just happened, one Christmas at a time, and somewhere along the way, they stacked up into the story our family tells every single Thanksgiving. Every year, someone brings it up. Every year, we laugh at the same parts the same way, like we're hearing it for the first time, even though we've all heard it a dozen times before. So here's the second thing I want to leave you with. If you're thinking about a holiday trip with your family this year, what would it look like to hold the plan a little loosely? To build in the room for the unplanned thing to happen, the parade you wander into, the tradition your kid invents on accident, the pageant you can't look away from either 50 years later, because in my experience, those are almost never the moments you can put on an itinerary. They're the moments that happen in the space around it, in the gaps between the things you actually planned. And maybe the real question is this: years from now, what's the small, strange, unplanned thing your family is going to be telling at your Thanksgiving table? You might not know yet. That's okay. Sometimes you don't know until you're standing in the middle of it, maybe even in the middle of a parade you didn't plan on being part of at all, showing up again years later when you least expect it. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. If you're dreaming about a Disney destination vacation and you'd like me to help make planning your vacation feel a little more magical, I'd be honored to help. You can learn more and request your complimentary vacation quote at christybettenhausen.com. Until next time, remember the memories you'll treasure most can't be found on a map. They're made in the magic between. Thanks for listening.